Our professional relationship, and there's a friendship and mutual respect between teammates, and we just carry that same attitude. And the confidence of Coach Sweeney and Jeff and myself to take over. Just a genuine appreciation for being here, an opportunity to be around these young men, and just focusing on what was most important. The most important thing is not egos, it's not about stats, it's about putting together a sound plan to help these young men be successful.
A lot of times co-coordinators, a lot of times sometimes it's a disaster, but obviously you and Jeff are more than making it work. You guys are flourishing. Is that because there is no ego?
Oh, no doubt. And then we also got a great support staff as well. Coach Caldwell and his experience, Coach Spearman, Coach Streeter, and what he's been able to help Jeff and myself do, because he's been a coordinator. So some of the things that we may not have an understanding on, he's able to coach us through that. But I think it just goes back to the culture of our program that there's no entitlement, that we have to go earn it every day. And in order to earn something, you got to be humble. You got to have a genuine appreciation for everybody else, and then just go do your job.
So having a guy like you're maybe third and 8, like normally try to get 4 or 5 yards to make it shorter. Does he give you a little more leeway to maybe take a chance and you trust his leg in those kind of situations?
No question. Got a tremendous amount of confidence in people, but more so, it's probably confidence in our quarterback and our guys up front, and just their track record of being able to execute and perform in third down situations, and the moment never being too big for them. So I think it's a combination of both of those, and then also too really goes off of what Coach Sweeney tells me on the headset. You got to go get it, or we're gonna play it safe here. So really just listening for that information, and then having the calls ready and being able to get to them.
Is it possible that this Alabama defense is even better than last year?
Oh, definitely possible. And a lot of it stems from they were so good last year because they had so much depth, and they don't quite have the depth, but the depth that they had last year is now more experienced. And so you see Jonathan Allen and his versatility to be able to play all the positions on the D-line, and heck, they could even stand them up and drop them in coverage if they wanted to. But what I see about this year's team is the level of communication. They're all on the same page. They're not out of position, and that's just a credit to their coaching staff for having those guys ready to play. And they look like they're having fun. A lot like us on offense. We're having fun when we're out there playing fast, having big plays, and it looks like they've taken a lot of pride in creating turnovers, scoring on defense, and so they're out there with a mission. They're not just trying to stop the offense that they're playing. They're trying to actually create a turnover and go score themselves.
Is this one of those games where you have to tell your offense, look, they're great, but as long as we do what we do, guys are going to be open and we can execute and still do, have success against them?
I don't think we have to tell them as much as, they're watching the tape from last year. And when you go back and you look at it, our guys, they stepped up to the challenge. And so they have the confidence that they can play, with these guys. And I think the focus of our program has always been to be the best, and best is the standard. And we also understand that in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. And right now they're the best, defense in the country. They've earned that, and statistically they've proven that. And more importantly, when they show up, they intimidate, their opponent. And that's somewhere that we tried to create that identity offensively as well, that when we walk into the arena that we're up by 7 points, just for that intimidation factor. But I don't think that's going to be a factor in this game. There's a tremendous amount of respect on both sides. When you cut on the tape, that you see how good they are. But they've been in this environment. They played against these guys, and so they're looking forward to the challenge.
How important is Artavis as far as what he does, not only a receiver but all the special teams?
Oh, it's critical. I think it was a Louisville game. We were able to pop that big return that actually gave us an opportunity to be in position to win that game. And just his leadership and his experience, and he's a fiery guy that motivates the guy. He's a great leader. And then even when he's not touching the ball per se, just his presence on the field, the ability to bring him in motion, and the threat of getting the ball to him, makes defenses have to defend us a certain way.
Tony was over talking to David Reese yesterday at Porter Goud. He was getting emotional talking about you, coaching in a national championship again. What's it like to know that you have that kind of an effect on a guy who's, pushing 80 years old?
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with me, and I love Coach Reese, and I appreciate everything that he's done for me. If it wasn't for his confidence in me as a high school player, I wouldn't be where I am today. So really appreciate him. But and it's not just me. It's just I think it's the entire program. It's just the charisma that Coach Sweeney has, the principles and fundamentals that we try to hold ourselves accountable to, and then also our players. And I think that's why a lot of people are taking notice of Coach.
With you and Jeff working together so closely, is it to the point now where every day you kind of know what you're both going to do, and you're sort of like two halves of one brain? as far as putting the offense together?
That's fair to say, and I think both of us are very routine guys. I eat the same thing about every day for lunch. You know, I got a routine. I try to go to bed at the same time every night, so I try to do everything the same. And we're both, very meticulous in that aspect. And I think one of the things that, and if you just look at Jeff, one of the reasons why he's such an outstanding recruiter is because he pays attention to the details. And that's the same way that I pride myself in paying attention to the details. So, we've taken pride in learning each other. To make this thing work, we've had to learn each other. And so we know each other's habits. We think alike, and now there's sometimes that he'll think of something, hey man, that's a good eye, or I'll think of something, but a lot of times it's, hey man, I was thinking that same thing. It's, hey, that's confirmation that we need to do it.
I'm glad you mentioned you're a routine guy. I like watching you on the sidelines before a game. You got the headsets on, you pace. Do you have a certain route that you do, and then what do you listen to, and what are you thinking about?
I do, and I don't get that opportunity as much here at home because of the recruiting activities, but anytime we're on the road, I like to go out, and I got a routine where I walk around the field, and I'm just praying to myself. I'm covering that field. I'm praying for both teams. I'm praying for health. I pray for each one of my players individually. I pray for the team, because at the end of the day, it is a blessing to get to do what we do. And then when I get over on the sideline, I got some gospel music. I got some slow R&B, and really just trying to quiet the noise and really focus in. And that's what I shared with the guys before this last game is, a lot of times I don't even know what I'm listening to. It's just I like that distraction because it forces me to focus in, and I'm able to quiet my mind and get ready for the game.
What would you listen to post-game if you guys win? What's on that playlist?
Post-game, whatever the players want to listen to. That's such a joy for me. And I'm not the dancer like Coach Sweeney. I don't get in the middle of the
Venables
pile.
Venables
was getting down. They get down. I'm pretty much the same all the time. But I just love to sit back and I'm smiling to myself when I see these young people that are having an opportunity to celebrate in that locker room because I know how hard they work and more importantly, I know how hard they sacrifice. We ask these guys in this program to live to a standard which is their best, and in order to live to that standard, you got to sacrifice a lot of things that other young people aren't sacrificing. So it's such a joy to see those guys. So I don't care what the music is, I just want to see them smile.
You may have been asked before what Alabama's got to go through with Sarkisian now stepping into calling plays. You just step back and you've got a million things to worry about. But you thought, boy, that would be really difficult to change that role going into such a big game.
I hadn't had time to focus on that. This has been a whirlwind of a week. We actually lost a day of preparation as opposed to last year because of the travel. That defense is, as I got the question before, looks better than it was last year. So I've just been focusing on that. And I understand. I got a tremendous amount of respect for Coach Saban, and he's one of the best in the business. So I believe he knows what he's doing on his side. I really don't have time to focus on that. I got to focus on these days being the most efficient to put together a plan to give us a chance.
You have the reference point that you went against that defense last year. A lot of their faces changed. How hard is it for you and for Jeff to draw that line of, okay, let's figure out what we did right, what we did wrong last year, but what are they doing this year? Because you might have too much information, if you know what I mean, because you played them already.
Well, I think the one thing that helps us is that there was a change in defensive coordinators. So we got to approach it, almost as if we didn't play those guys last year because there is a little bit of difference in philosophy and some of the things that they're doing, on defense. And so, but we do reference back to the game last year just to give us confidence and confirmation that, our guys are going to be ready to play physically. And now it comes down to that balance of, okay, schematically, what do we need to do to give them an opportunity to gain an advantage? But at the end of the day, we don't want to slow them down because this game is going to be one in the trenches. It's going to be a physical game. It's going to be a game of matchups, and the team that can physically hold the line of scrimmage and make the plays on the perimeter is going to win this game and not turn it over.
You said you eat the same thing for lunch every day. What is it?
It's a Chipotle chicken burrito, and my wife, she's a nurse, so she doesn't like me eating the tortilla every single day, so she'll mix it up and give me a bowl every once in a while. But I'm just a routine guy. I do the same thing, but I really cherish those moments because not only do I get to eat lunch and have my Chipotle, but I get to do it with my family for 30 minutes a day.
Injury-wise, I know Mike Williams missed a couple reps. Tweaked knee. Is everything okay there?
Yeah, and I actually made the comment because I remember coming into this game last year. I think Ray was nursing a knee, so I think we're in good shape from the health standpoint. Had good spirit of practice yesterday too.
When you talk about sharing it with your family, I love seeing you with Ace or after the game. What is it like being able to share this, even though he's young, he may not remember it, with him, pre-game, post-game, that type of thing?
Oh man, and that AJ's at an age now where I can do that. The first couple games it was tough. The first ACC championship and the bowl game last year. They stayed at the hotel. Matter of fact, my first game, tell y'all a funny story. Getting ready to call the first game of my career versus Oklahoma. I'm getting ready to go get on the bus, and my wife and AJ, because he was 1 year old, they're at the pool. You know, they wish me well from the pool. They didn't even come to the game. But, so having that opportunity to be with him and take pictures, and he might not understand it, but he loves the football guys. He loves to be around them, and that's really when it sinks in for me. Leading up to it, you know, I just kind of live in that fog of my routine. But then after the game, when it's all said and done, I can finally exhale, relax, and I have a chance to see my wife and my 2 boys there, and you know, it makes it all worth it.
Last year, you guys